People are always asking about different treatments for trees, and it's advertised in all of the Arborist magazines, these little capsules that you drill a hole in the tree and you put a little capsule in there that pumps into the system of the tree, and it systemically takes it up through the tree. Now there's different reasons for it. There's injections for insects, which is an insecticide. There's injections for fungus, and there's also injections for fertilizer. I won't go into the names of the companies, but they all kind of do the same procedure. And I wanted to point out to you that this was done about 6 years ago, and you can see all the way down inside here, this is showing all the damage that occurred as a result of this. And you see that the trunk has a very noticeable swelling to it, and all of these areas are imperfections. Now, it doesn't happen on all trees, it doesn't happen on all species, but some, this one happens to be a Zelkova, are particularly sensitive to it. This tree also received multiple injection treatments. This is a tulip tree, and it's noticeably problematic with scale, and you can see all these old wounds all the way around. This one's not showing quite the same kind of damage that the Zelkova does, but unfortunately these trees are now dying. They've stopped doing the injection treatments on the trees because they recognized that it was a problem. This is not something I did, this is something that the landscape contractors did. There's another species of tree that hopefully I'll see later in this complex. It's the hackberry tree, Celtis, and they are recognized as being particularly sensitive to injections in the trunk, and in many cases they'll cause big areas of decline and dieback and drying out. So I'm not an advocate of injections. That doesn't mean that there aren't situations where that's the best choice, but unfortunately it's used prophylactically to treat things like scale or aphids or leaf-eating insects, and the long-term damage to the trunk becomes quite apparent. Okay, now I'm carrying on. I'm looking at the rest of the Zelkovas, the Japanese Zelkovas, Zelkova serrata, and I'm not seeing any of these trunks. And I remembered now, about 6 years ago, they treated all the hackberries, because the hackberries had the bad aphid problem, and they were dripping sticky honeydew all over the cars. And for some reason, whoever was doing the application thought this tree was a hackberry, or they made a mistake, because that's the only Zelkova that I've seen that was treated with the injections. And you can see none of these have the same damage to the trunk. And here's a hackberry tree that received the same injections multiple times. You can see some of them are newer. They've gone in 1, 2, probably 3 years in a row, and they cause quite a bit of damage. They seem to grow up around them, and they don't really heal, but they surround the wounds. You can see they're continuing to do it. Every hackberry that I inspect shows the scars of this past injection treatment. They're growing up around them, but it'd be really interesting to dissect this tree and see what the scars look like from the inside.